What a world, it is your boy Digidread on the mic. What coming in with a take 2 on the Jesmon GX deck profile for you, because I've been absolutely exploring this deck to the fullest, and I want to make sure that people are kind of aware of the developments and the changes that I've implemented to this deck, because I essentially want to be a bit of an advocate for Jesmon and, you know, really spread the love in regards to this deck, because I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on it and the potential that it can actually do, especially in this format. So if this is a video for you as I go through my ratios, tech and all that good stuff, then make sure you stick around and enjoy. And if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, make sure you subscribe and turn the notification bell, because I do videos on the reg. And I want to give a shout out to White Rose TCG on CardMarket, because they hooked me up not only with my promo Hookmon alt art, but they also upgraded this bad boy to first class. What can I upgrade ya? What? Hell yeah, I can. That's what I'm talking about. So I really want to just give it an absolute shout out, because it did actually make my day. I had such a stressful day prior to just receiving this news that I did manage to win the competition and I was upgraded to first class, and this came absolutely sharpish. So I'm absolutely in love with this. Unfortunately, it's the actual like card itself is it's a little bit mid, but you know, if I had my own way in, you know, the dream format of not actually having to run Solomon, I probably would take in 2 of these just because the artwork is just so fierce. But enough of me gushing over the art. Let's go over to ratios, and I will quickly go over the things that I've essentially not changed, but things that I have changed I'll probably go into a bit more detail for you guys. So as standard, we're still running the 4 Sakutamon eggs. This, when you get to your top end, is just so crucial for just getting that memory back, meaning that when you do go to Jesmon GX, it's the overall like win condition. It means that you're leaving your opponent with very little memory. That is exactly what you're going to be doing, so that is still remaining the same. So 4 eggs is standard. Then going on to the rookies. So rookies, we're still rocking with the 14 overall. We're still rocking with the 4 BT6 Hookmon, which is obviously going to be primary searcher. The BT13 Hookmon, which is just absolutely crucial in order for you to kind of turbo up into the game and obviously reclaim that memory back. We do run with the 2 Solomons because, you know, Raw Knight and Belphamon are a thing, and they are both pretty freaking good decks right there. So changes in regards to the Systemon ratios are going to be back with the 2 Systemon Blanc BT6, and then we're just going to go with the starter deck Blanc there as well. So what I found is that even though it was fantastic getting that kind of that card draw that you do get from the starter deck Blanc, only having essentially 1 BT6 Blanc that can count my other sister's blocker early game can be a little bit detrimental. It feels like, you know, I don't have any form of protection or any ways to kind of like stall out the game a little bit if they want to essentially rush me down. So I'm thinking that 2-2 split is going to be solid, especially for like long tournament play. You know, I'm not going to be bumping into the same decks over and over again. So I feel like having a nice 2-2 split is nice and even, and it's working out a lot better for me, especially versing like Shine and Mirage Gargamon. Especially when I kind of go to my top end and make that essentially the unbreakable board that obviously we want to achieve. So that concludes for the rookies. Obviously it's still the same, minus the ratios on the sisters have slightly changed. So in terms of the champions, so champions have had a bit of a reshuffle because I've realized that I'm also crap at maths, and and now there was a game at my locals which I feel like if I had slightly different ratios in regards to the sisters, I probably could have done a lot better than I actually did. So we're still rocking with the BT13 bow hooks because they're just, once again, really good, enabling you to obviously warp into your savior for a reduced cost of 2 is just massive. Then we still go in with the 3 BT6 savior hooks. Obviously that inheritable is sexy. I mean, deleting a Digimon with 5,000 DP or less when you have a Systemon on the field is just an absolute value. Then rocking into the Systemon ratio, so slightly different. So we do rocking with the BT10 CL at 3. That's the big change right here, because we did originally have the BT6 CL at 3. But I think with the interactions between this bow hook and this going into your savior, it means that you can actually turbo up a lot quicker to your GX plays, and this actually will grant you memory, meaning that essentially when you go into your savior, it's actually costing you 0, which is just actually massive. And that's the thing that I was a bit confused with, because I mean, I ain't gonna lie guys, maths is not my strong suit at all. I don't know how I do the reports at work. I tell you, the bank trusts me with too much, let's just say that. But this is a very powerful card, and I feel like just at least having 2 in hand is going to be crucial for you to execute your main combo plays in order for you to go to GX and just be like, yo, you got a response? No, I win. And then lastly, we're still rocking with the start deck CL there as well. This is important because you do want your GX to essentially reboot and be a big blocker, being quite crucial, because say if the opponent does have an answer to kind of obliterate all your sisters, it means that you can still block at least 1 attack, which can be a massive impact in terms of the game state. So that concludes for the champions. Like I say, slight reshuffle in regards to the sisters, but everything else has kind of remained the same from my previous video, which I will put a link in the description. So in regards to the ultimates pretty much remain the same. Obviously, BT13 starter deck, BT13 hooked one, powerful, really good. I'm surprised when people do a split on this, just because I feel like this is definitely the one that you actually do want. And I've managed to max drip that out as standard. We do go in with the starter deck savior. Obviously the one-off is just a nice search target. Obviously when digivolving, you do grant yourself the ability to attack unsuspended, which actually does help out a lot. And then we go in with the OG BT6 savior. This powerful, absolutely powerful. With the amount of memory gain that you get in this deck, being able to swing twice can absolutely just OTK your opponent, which is, I mean, it's glorious. And then rocking with with the guy is going to be your Chimeramon. Definitely want to be running that at 2. Such a facilitator for some awesome combos. This and this can really just help you get back in the game. Really apply that aggression out of nowhere. Chimeramon is the glue. It is the glue of Jesmon, and deserves to be at 2, no less. You can rock it to 3. My family, y'all need Jesmon on Discord. Big up. Yeah, really, we are cooking, guys. We are cooking. So if you do want to fancy playing Jesmon, definitely hop into the thread. We are. My God, we've got a flambe going. That's how good it's going in there. Can really help you improve your Jesmon game. So that concludes for the ultimates. Like I say, it is remained the same as before. There was definitely no errors on that one. So going on to the Megas have had quite a big change, and I feel like the card, as you may have noticed on the thumbnail, is definitely it counters a lot of the meta. let's just say that counters a lot of the meta, because not being able to DP reduce and also not being able to bounce is quite the key thing for Mirage Gargamon, and also your shine. On top of that, you know, for us it's spawning those sisters being very crucial. On top of that, it's going to be getting that DP boosting there as well for the whole freaking field, which is just massive. So let's read them out. So we got the 3 Jesmon X antibody, which is nice. Obviously to help you attack unsuspended, and obviously spawn out a sister and able to get that 2000 DP to the end of the opponent's turn. Then we have upped Jesmon Gankumon X antibody to 3. This card is so good, so good. I can't believe how good it is in this format. Just being a blocker, so it means that you can kind of stall out if you don't actually happen to have your X antibody Jesmon. But just being able to grant yourself that protection of not being bounced or being DP reduced is massive, as well as getting another system on out, which for this, obviously it costs us 4 to go into, but if we get a system on out, and depending on inheritables in our stack, it's coming out for free most of the times, if not going to cost you 1. So really, really huge. Ideally, if you are going into Gankumon on top of your Saviormon, hopefully you've got that BT10 CL, which is obviously going to combo you up into your Jesmon GX. Then we still rock in with the BT13 Jesmon. This, surprisingly, is smashing expectations, guys. It's absolutely smashing expectations. it is unreal how useful this card has been. Just being your kind of built-in Crimson Blaze in terms of the deck that is searchable. If you've got a secondary stack, which is obviously your hook one line, or if you've chimered and so forth and you've got enough bodies, it enables you to effectively clear out the opponent's field or get rid of a big body, which obviously, if they can't prevent that form of deletion, is going to be massive for you. Granted, you're not able to obviously spawn out a sister, which is a little bit unfortunate, but having that nice kind of deletion ability does really help out the deck, especially when you got like floodgates kind of preventing your memory gains and so forth, or your summon sisters from card effects. And then lastly, we do go in with the 3GX. That's definitely not changed. This is your main boss monster right here that you want to go into. Such a facilitator in terms of that heavy aggression. And the reason why these ratios have changed from the initial deck build that I've done is essentially, you know, Jesmon Blitz is great. And if you want me to do a deck profile which is just pure Jesmon, starter deck Jesmon, and obviously all the other tools, definitely let me know in the comments. I'm more than happy to cook that up. But ideally, what you're aiming to do with this is kind of go into your top end, and then you reclaim that memory back from your inheritables and so forth. Obviously, you've got the Digimon egg that's going to gain you 1 because you can do that mid-combo, as long as you obviously trigger that last. The fact that this enables you to effectively utilize all of this top range here. So obviously you'd be able to put this underneath, you're able to summon a system on, and then this can attack unsuspended. So when you do go into the Blitz, you can attack the opponent's Digimon, which is going to be helpful. As well, say if you've evoed into this, you've busted out your BT13 CL, then you've took this and so forth, then you've still got that DP protection and bounce protection, as well as still being able to attack into the Digimon, and then it has piercing, so you're still getting those checks in. So it's really heavy aggression here. And then lastly, if you want to essentially be like, okay, right, there's a lot of Digimon on the opposition side, I want to make sure that if I'm going to GX, I want to make sure that I put them in such an uncomfortable position that they really cannot respond with a Digimon that's already out in field. You can obviously tuck this underneath, but granted, it means that you would have to have a pretty much decent board state in order to get like the DP deletion effect to a high amount. But lucky enough, if you trigger this, it'd be a bit of a weird one. Essentially, you would have to. You'd have to attack with this to then summon out a system on, which is going to be your BT10 system on, to then trigger its effect to then evo into GX to get more bodies out in order for you to obviously get this effect out to be quite potent. But that is definitely the ratios there. I feel like this is very comfortable. Having this at 3 means that you obviously, because it's not searchable by obviously the hooks and well, basically just the BT6 hook one. Ideally, you do need to run more in order for you to secure it in hand, and then obviously if it's insecure and gets popped out of security, it's going to be in trash. So at least then you've got ways to essentially do the play and tuck it into your Jesmon GX. So that concludes for the megas, and then lastly, going on to the options, we still keep it the same with the 4 of the Master to Disciple. Very cracked card right here, just great for you to search out pretty much your whole deck minus the Chimeramon and Solomons, and then also able to reduce that distribution cost of your next evo, which is really nice because it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to, once you've popped this, you have to then evo into that. You can pop it and then play a system on out, do whatever you need to do, and then evo, and after that's when that effect will trigger. So really good interactions that you can do when you are kind of going into your save your hook, getting that free value, as well as obviously if you do have a BT10 CL out, you would still gain that memory, so effectively you've netted 1 memory. It really depends on obviously the application that you want to do in order for you to maximize on the combo. Obviously, if you do have Savior and Raising, then effectively, you know, it's kind of good to have these just to reduce that cost and just kind of maximize out on a more of a safer play. It might mean that, you know, if the meta does kind of shape up that people are still running Defex, it means obviously you can kind of make sure you've built up an unbreakable board and also can counter that essential play, which, you know, can really just devastate a board state, because Jesmon is still susceptible to deletion based off levels, being the thing. So I know that as much as my system on ratios have slightly changed, so like I mentioned, I do run the two starter deck Blanc and this Blanc. These are great and everything, but if you're versing, say, like Impmon, Beelzemon, which effectively deletes by level, and obviously with the new SR Impmon, they just have to trash them and then that's dead in that sense. And this is why I do kind of like having two, because it means that they've got to put in a bit more extra work in order for them to kind of disrupt that board, if I do manage to have two out on the field. But I do feel like this is kind of nice for versing kind of Shine, especially if we do have the Gankamon DP protection, because it means that you can effectively just block quite comfortably with all your other Systemons, and effectively they can't necessarily do anything. As well, on top of that, because you've got the 2 DP boosts from your Jesmon X antibody and your Gankumon X antibody, it means that your Systemons are sitting above the Crimson Blaze threshold, unless you're versing Galamon, which can obviously increase that, which is actually pretty helpful because once again, that's another card that can just obliterate all your Systemons. So having the 2 Megas, which enable you to get additional 2k DP, just means that your top end is looking very heavy, whilst your Systemons are also looking pretty chunky there as well. But guys, that is your boy done. Try to keep it short and sweet on this one, but let me know in the comments if you want a bit more information in regards to the changes. If you want me to drop my actual list down in case you just want to kind of just dive straight in, let me know. I want to ideally get it up to 30 likes, and then I'll just drop that list in, so at least then you know, or obviously you can watch the video and obviously form that list yourself. But this list I'm very confident with. I feel like it works. It's very solid in what it does, and yeah, I'm very excited for this format because I feel like Jesmon is going to be eaten well. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit annoyed with half of the tier lists because I feel like some of them are just either not even used Jest or just kind of giving up on it straight away. I mean, if it's got all its consistency pieces now, it's still not running, then effectively the whole game plan is just wrong at this point. But guys, that's enough of my slight salt. Smash it with like a standard. Stay safe, stay fly, and I'll catch you next one. D-Dread off the mic.